Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel once again. So at the end of every month, I try to find out the crossovers in the exponential moving averages in the Nifty 50 stocks. So for finding the crossovers, I use two pairs of exponential moving averages. The first pair contains the exponential moving average of period 20 and 100, and the second pair contains the exponential moving average of the period 50 and 200. So these are the color codings that are mentioned right here. So let me give you an example. If the 20 period EMA crosses the 100 period EMA from below, then it's a bullish sign for us. And if it cuts from above, then it's a bearish sign. And if it's and if the 20 EMA is very near to the 100 EMA, then it is just, I assume that it is about to cross, or it will cross in about 15 days or 10 days. So that's the color coding. I hope I am able to explain that. So let's just quickly go and start doing the analysis. So first we will do I'll apply the template for the 20 and 100 EMA. So, okay, let me just copy down the name of the stock. The first stock for today is Adani Ports. Okay, now let me just copy this down. Adani Ports, yeah. Okay, so as you can see, the 20 period EMA is quite above the 100 period EMA. So I'll ignore this stock, no color coding for this. Next stock is Asian Paints. Okay, let me just copy down the name, Asian Paint. Yeah, right. Okay, it's loading. Let me just refresh the page. I guess it's lagging. Okay, now it has come. Okay, so as you can see, the 20 EMA is well far from the 100 EMA. So we'll go for the next stock. No color coding for this too. Axis Bank. Okay, again, the 20 EMA was very close at this point of time on 23rd of April, but now it has taken a turn. So, but still, I think it's going to go above, but still I'll mark it as blue, as we can see a crossover in 10 or 15 days, or it might bounce back. So anyways, let's not take risk and let's just play on the safer side. So I'll check in 10 or 15 days that whether or not the crossover of 20 EMA and 100 EMA has happened. Okay, so next stock for today is Bajaj Auto. Okay, so again, it's the same case as Axis Bank. It was very near to the 100 EMA on 22 of April, but now it has bounced from here. So again, to be just safe with our analysis, to avoid any opportunities, sorry, to avoid missing any opportunities, I'll just mark it as blue, and I'll check the crossover again and say a week or 10 days. Next stock is Bajaj Finance. Okay, so Bajaj Finance, the 20 period EMA crossed the 100 period EMA on 20th of April from upward. That was a bearish sign, but again, the 20 period EMA crossed the 100 period EMA from below. So that's a bullish sign, and it has recently occurred. So we still have chance to make a position in this stock. So, okay, I'll mark it as green. Next stock is Bajaj Finance. Okay. Okay, so the 20 period EMA is quite above the 100, so let's just skip this stock. Next is BPCL. Okay, so the 20 period EMA is quite near to the 100 period EMA, so it's like consolidating in this range. It has taken a very good support on the 100 EMA, so that's one of the things that could help us in making a position in this particular stock. Again, just a quick disclaimer that I am not suggesting any trade or any position in any particular stock. I am just sharing all my analysis for the educational purpose only. And before making any investment in the stock market, please do consult with your financial planner. Okay, so I'll mark it as blue because the 20 period EMA is quite close to the 100 period EMA. Next stock is Bharti R10. So you can see it has actually crossed, I guess, 533.95. Yeah, the 20 EMA has crossed the 200 period EMA from above. But as you can see, it recently, not actually recently, a month back. So yeah, okay. So it's a bullish sign because the 20 period EMA is has crossed the 100 period EMA from below. So I'll mark it as green. So it could be a good position. Next stock is Britannia. Okay, so as you can see, it's sloping downwards. So it is possible that in 7 or 10 days, we might get a crossover in Britannia, like a bearish sign. So I'll mark it as blue. Okay, sorry. Next on the list is Cipla. Okay, so it's well above the 100 period EMA. So we'll skip the stock. Next is Coal India. Okay, so it crossed on 5th of April. It was a bearish sign, but again, it's moving downwards. It's quite far from the 100 EMS, so again, we will ignore the stop. Next is Dr. Reddy. Okay, it crossed the 20 period EMA, crossed the 100 period EMA on 20th April. That was quite near, I guess, and the price is almost at the same price at which there was a crossover. So I will mark it as a bullish sign. So I'll mark it as green. Next one on the list is Eicher Motor. Okay, so as you can see, there was a bearish crossover on 13th April, and it's trading at that particular around that price only, so I'll mark it as red. Next one on the list is Gale. Okay, so the 20 period EMA is quite above the 100 period EMA, but it can show a crossover in 10 or 15 days. It might. So just to be safe with our analysis and we do not miss any position or any opportunity, I'll mark it as blue. Next stock is Grasim. And we have to repeat the same process for the 50 and 200 EMA also after we are finished with the 20 and 100 EMA. So once I am done with all the 50 stocks for the 20 and 100 wala pair, I'll start with the 50 and 200. Okay, Grasim. So it's well above. So we'll ignore the stock. Next is HCL Tech. Okay, so it's pointing downwards and we might get a crossover within 7 or 10 days. So again, we'll mark it as blue. Next is HDFC Bank. I think there won't be any crossover in this. Oh, okay, okay. So we see a crossover at 26th of April. Then this was a bearish crossover. Then there was a bullish crossover again on 28th of April. Bearish was on 26th of April and the bullish crossover was on 28th of April. And again, it's about to show a bearish. So the trend is not quite obvious. So I'll mark it as green only. Because the last crossover was a bullish crossover, that's why I'm marking it as green. Again, before taking any position, we will watch out for other things, but for now, according to our rules, it will be a green one because the latest crossover was a bullish. Next is HDFC Life. Okay, so again, it's very close. We can see a bearish crossover. So I'll mark it as blue. Next is Hero Motocorp. Okay, it showed a bearish sign, bearish crossover on 26 April, so it's now very far, so no need to, we'll ignore this stock. Next is Hindalco. Okay, it's well above the 100 EMS, so we'll ignore this one too. Next is Hindustan Unilever. Okay, again, it's very up, the gap is very huge in the 120 EMA. Again, this gap, as I'm saying, that it's very huge. It's a very subjective matter. So for someone, it might be a very small gap, but what I see visually is that the gap is too big for me. So that's why I'm ignoring this stock. I hope that I do not miss any opportunity on this particular stock. Anyways, moving forward is HDFC. Okay, this happens all the time with the HDFC when I copy the name. Okay, so the 20 EMA is quite close to the 100 EMA. So again, we'll mark it as blue. Okay, let me just scroll down a little bit. Yeah. Next is ICICI Bank. Okay, it's well above the 100 EMA, so we'll ignore this. ITC. Okay, ITC is about to show a crossover. It has not shown the bearish crossover till now, but it's just at the verge. Either it will bounce back from here or it will get a crossover. So I'll mark it as blue. Next on the list is Indian Oil. Okay, so it has shown a crossover on 12th of April. So again, it was way too long, way too back. So we'll ignore the stock once again. Indusland Bank. Okay, it has shown a bearish crossover on 20th April. Now it's very close to the 100 EMA. So there might be a possibility of bullish crossover. So I'll mark it as blue once again. So the frequency of blue stocks is more, and many of the from all the blue stocks, there will be one, two, or three stocks maximum that might show a crossover, and rest of them will just bounce off or just the gap will widen. So again, to be safe, we are marking them as blue so that we do not miss on any opportunities. Next is Infosys. I don't think Infosys would show a crossover. Yeah, it's very far from the 100 EMA. Next is JSW Steel, again same case. I don't think it will show a crossover. Yeah, it's well above. Next is Kotak Bank. Okay, so it's very near, I guess, and it recently showed a bearish crossover. We might see a bullish crossover. So let's just, to be safe, mark it as blue. It was Kotak Bank. Yeah. Next is Larsen and Turbo. Again, it's very near. There might be a crossover and mark it as blue. Mahindra and Mahindra. Okay, it's very near to show a bearish crossover. So I'll mark it as blue once again. Again, it's very subjective that which stock you are marking it as blue. I already verified that. Sorry, I already cleared out that it's a very subjective matter. That this gap may be very big for someone or very small for someone. So according to that, you have to color code it. But my personal opinions are for that it was a small gap. Anyways, moving forward, Maruti. Okay, it showed a bearish crossover on 1st March and then it has dragged down. So it's good. Next is NTPC. It's quite near, it's like flattish from 4 or 5 days, so we'll mark it as blue to avoid any chances. Next is Nestle India. Okay, so it is going down, guys. So I'll just ignore this stock. We have missed the position in this. Next is ONGC. It's quite above the 100 EMA, so pass. Next is Power Grid. Again, it's well above the 100 EMA. Next is Reliance. Okay, so it has shown a bearish crossover. Now it's very near to the 100 EMA, and Reliance is a strong stock, so we might see a bullish crossover. That's why I do not want to miss any opportunity. That's why I will be marking this as a blue. Next is Shri Cement, I guess the full form of this stock. It's well above the 100 EMA. Next is SBI. It's again well above. Next is Sun Pharma. Again, it's well above the 100 EMA. TCS. Okay, it's pointing downwards, but it is still well above the 100 EMA, so I'm gonna pass. Tata Motors, or let's, for the sake of being safe, let's just mark TCS as blue only. But the chances are better that it will bounce off from here. But anyways, let's look at Tata Motors. It's well above, so pass. Tata Steel. No doubt in that it's well above the 100 EMA. Next is Tech Mahindra. Okay, it's pointing downwards, but still the gap is large, but still to just be safe, we'll mark it as blue. I think it was Tech Mahindra. Let me just cross check. Yeah, it was Tech. Next is Titan. Okay, it's well above. Next is UPL. Again, the 20 EMA is quite above the 100 EMA. Will pass. Next is Ultra Semco. Ultra Semco is pointing downwards, but the gap is too wide. Let's just ignore this stock. More chances are that it will bounce off from here. The last, I guess the second last, yeah, the second last is Wipro. Okay, it's well above. The last stop for this 20 and 100 EMA wala pair is Zeal, and after that we'll go on to the 50 and 200 EMA. Okay, so it has crossed, but we have missed the opportunity, and it has dragged very much from them. So it's wide. The gap is very wide, so we'll ignore the stock. Okay, so let me just write down 20 in front of these. Uh, Sorry. Okay. Okay. It's just for me having the record that these all have passed for the 20 EMA, because after that I will be analyzing for the 50 and 200 EMA, so it will be a lot of confusion that for which pair I have marked this particular stock as um, green, red, or blue. So that's why I'm marking that these are the color codes for the 20 EMA. Okay, next is this one. Okay, sorry. Yeah, last one is this. Okay, fine. Now let's move on and let's start doing the 50 EMA. So, okay, let's start with Adani ports. Well, one thing is that those stocks which are having the crossovers in the 20 and 100 EMA, or are about to having a crossover, those have the greater chances of showing the 50 and 200 wala crossover. So, but for the sake of education, I will just analyze all the 50 stocks, but high probability is that we won't find, we will only find the crossover or chances of crossover in the stocks which are color coded. Okay, but anyways, let's start with Adani ports. The video might be a little long, but please hang in there. Okay, let me just apply the template of 50 and 200. Okay, so it's well above. Next is Asian Paints. well above. We have to repeat the same process for the 50 and 200. I am repeating the same process. Axis Bank is again well above because see 50 and 200 EMI are the EMIs for a greater period of time. Okay, sorry, I should not say greater period of time. They are having greater periods, so they move less slowly. They move slowly as compared to the 20 and 100 EMI. So that's why if there is not a chance of showing a crossover in 20 and 100 EMI, there will hardly be a chance of showing a crossover in 50 and 200. So to save time, you could just check on only those stocks which are color coded for the 20 and 100 EMA one appear. But again, for the education, I will just verify all the stocks, all the Nifty 50 stocks. You could also practice this exercise with Nifty 100 or Nifty 500 stocks. The number of stocks which you will get will be higher. Okay, so Bajaj Auto again, huge gap. Next is Bajaj Finance. Again, huge gap, pass. Again, a very huge gap between the EMAs. Next is BPCL. It's close, but still, I think it's very flattish. So, for staying on the safer side, let's mark this on 52. Next is Bharti R10. Again, it's flattish kind of thing, and the gap is large, but still, for being safe, I'll mark it as 52 for the 50 also. For the 50 period also. Next is Infratel. Okay, with Infratel it always happen. I don't know why it does not appear here. I type the right name, but it just does not appear. So let's just ignore this for once. Next is Britannia. Okay, it's pointing downward, so we might see a crossover, a bearish crossover. So let's just mark it as blue. It is already marked as blue, but it's for 50 also. Next one on the list is Cipla. It's well above the range. Next is Coal India. Again, not a chance of showing crossover according to me, so we'll pass. Dr. Reddy is next. So again, it's way above and it's pointing upwards too. So we'll pass on this. Next is Eicher Motor. Mm, not. It's pointing downwards, but the gap is too large. So we'll just ignore this. Gale. Again, it's very large gap and the EM is flattish. So again, let's go to Grasim. It's well above. HCL Tech. Again, it's very well above the 200 EMA. HDFC Bank. Again, it's well above the 200 EMA. Will pass. HDFC Life. Again, it seems very flattish. As I said that these longer period EMAs move very slowly, so we need a very large movement for getting sharp turns. Okay, so again the gap is too large, so we'll pass on this. Hero Motoko. It might show a bearish crossover. It's too near, so we'll mark it as blue for the 50 EMA. Next one is Hindalco. It's way above. No need to worry for this. We are not seeing any crossover in this one. Next is Hindustan Unilever. I guess same case would be with Hindustan Unilever. Yeah, it's well above. Next one is HDFC. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay, it's well above the 200 EMA, so we'll pass on this. Next is ICICI Bank. It's well above the 200 EMA again. Next one is ITC. It's very near, so I'll mark it as blue to avoid any chances of missing the opportunity. So it's already colored coded as blue. I'll mark this 50 also. Next is Indian Oil. So it has crossed the 200 EMA very recently, so I'll mark it as a bearish sign for this. It will go as red for 50 EMA. Okay. Next on the list is IndusInd Bank. It's far above the 200 EMA. We'll ignore this. Next is Infosys. It's well above the 200 EMA, so we are good. You can see I have not pointed out this, but these moving averages, exponential moving averages, could also be used as a support. As you can see, the 50 exponential moving average has worked as a great support for this stock. Let me just change the color. See from here, So these could have been a buying opportunity, but still, this was not the sorry, what should I say, that it's not the part of this video. We are not expecting any support from these 50. We are not expecting any analysis on getting support from these exponential moving averages. We are just looking for the crossovers. But again, for your trading, you could use these as a key resistance or support point. So again, anyways, moving forward with our analysis. Next stock is JSW Steel. No need to check this. JSW Steel is skyrocketing, so we are not going to see any bearish crossover. Next is Kotak Bank. It's near to the 200 EMA, so let's just mark it as blue. It's already marked. I'll keep the 51 too. L&T. It's well above. No need to check this. Mahindra and Mahindra. Again, it's very well above. Moving on to Maruti. Yeah, it has shown a bearish crossover on 26th of April. So we'll mark it as red for the 50 EMA. Next is Ntpc. It's close, but again, okay, it might be far for someone, it might be small for someone. Sorry, not far, wide. The gap might be wide for some people and it may be small for some people. So to be just safe, I'll mark it as blue. It is already marked. So I'll keep the 50 wala too. Next is Nestle India. Okay, it's very close. It might show a crossover, a bearish crossover. So I'll mark it as red. Next is ONGC. It's well above. Next is Power Grid. It's well above the 200 EMA. Reliance. The gap is wide. So again, I'll check this. I'll keep a watch on this. Reliance is a good stock. Next is Shree Cement. It's well above the 200 EMA. No need to check this. SBI. It's again well above. Sun Pharma. Uh, no sign of showing any crossovers. Tata Consultancy. It's well above the 200 EMA. Tata Motors. No need to check for this stock. Tata Steel again. Tata Steel is skyrocketing. We won't see any crossovers. Tech Mahindra. It's well above the 200 EMA. Titan. Again, very large gap. UPL, no crossovers expected for this. Ultra Semco, it's quite far from the 200 EMA. Second last stock for today is Wipro. Again, it's very far from the 200 EMA. Last stock for today's analysis in which we will be finding the crossover is Zeal. Okay, so it has shown a bearish crossover on 12th or 9th of April or 8th of April, I guess. Yeah, 8th of April was the date. And the stock price was 202 and currently it's trading at 185. So it's not even trading at closer to the same price point at which it showed the crossover. So we have missed the opportunity. We have to ignore the stock for now. But we can mark it as blue again because it might bounce off from here. So let's for not missing any opportunity, let's just mark it as blue. What's the harm in checking one more stock? Okay, so this was the end of today's analysis. Again, let me just repeat the disclaimer that before making any investment decisions, please consult with your financial planner. And I'm doing all this analysis and sharing this for educational purpose only. I do not recommend any trades in any particular stock. So now, if you guys are liking that what I am doing here, I am not just sharing the strategy which I use. I'm actually doing it from scratch for all of you. And if you are liking that, then please do like my videos. And if you guys have any complaints or any suggestions regarding the voice quality, regarding the analysis, or you have any doubts regarding the strategy, then please do mention them in the comment section below. So thank you for watching this. I will come back with the same strategy in the next month, and I will analyze all the Nifty 50 stocks again at the end of next month. So till then, thank you and bye bye.